Today's cardinal lesson, we're talking about Medicare, signing up for it, and then avoiding the penalties which can come to you if you don't get your sign up right. And these penalties, somehow just the word penalty seems to terrify people, and they're not even aware of it. And so let's just talk about that for a minute. Our video where for people turning 65 and talking about Medicare has just gone viral. And so we get a lot of calls of people asking us for consulting really about insurance, and they want to know what insurance to buy to supplement Medicare. And what we end up doing first is giving them consulting over the proper timing and the proper way to sign them up for Medicare, or perhaps don't sign them up and because they don't need it now, and then making sure they're going to be able to sign up later. So what we're doing today is I had a client the other week that it's a lady out in California, and she's I think 68, and her husband is 64, and he's getting into retirement, and she's been relying on his group insurance, and she was almost ready to go on to the Cobra that they were offering him, just thinking that's really the only thing that she had going for her. She didn't research this stuff at 65. As it turned out, she was okay because she maintained creditable group insurance all the way back to age 65. And so I emailed her this form right here, which Tom is going to bring up. It's in the show notes. We decided we're going to send this form to both forms, the forms that I sent her to kind of get going with the sign up and the late sign up to get her out of the penalties. So, in this form, what it does, I emailed it to her, and she took it to the employer, and then the employer completed it, and it just proved, I think it was back in 2019 when she turned 65, and she signed up for Part A, so she got that part of it right. But she didn't sign up for Part B, so they needed to prove that she had this creditable coverage from 2019 to the current date. And then she got that completed. That took a while because they're not getting along real well with him. But she got all that done. And so I just decided I was going to do a video, and I was going to show the people like what we actually do to get you signed up at 67 or 68 or 69, and what we do. So I want to bring Tom in, and I want Tom to show you how you can get a hold of these forms.
Yeah. And so we've been doing these on the more recent videos of having show notes, some context about the videos. And so you can find the links to these documents in the descriptions below, but it's also on our website. And so when you go to sign up, so this is for people who have delayed Medicare Part B. They didn't sign up at 65. They had the credible coverage, and now it's time to actually enroll in Medicare. How do you go about doing this? And so there are two forms that you need to sign up for. One is the CMS I think it's L564, I think is the number. It's on our website. But what this is the request for employment information. And if we scroll down on this document, what it does, like Hans was saying, is it tells Medicare, and your employer signs off on this, or your spouse's employer, either way is fine, that you've had coverage from the day that you turn 65 or the month you turn 65 until now. And as long as they can do that, as long as you've had that coverage, you don't have to worry about these penalties that are out there. The second form is the actual application for Medicare Part B. And so this is the one that you're actually saying, this is one you sign personally. It says, here's my information. I want to start Part B at this date. And you need both of these forms in order to avoid these penalties. And so part of the reason we're doing this video is because a lot of times people may have done this properly. They may have not signed up for Medicare, which was the right decision for them. They're now, say, 68, 69. It's time to sign up, and they don't know how to do it. And we've run across several clients that have just gone to Medicare, tried to sign up. Unfortunately, the Medicare people, some of them give good advice, but a lot often don't. And they said, oh, you can't sign up until the general enrollment period, which is January through March. And your coverage isn't going to start till July. And oh, by the way, you're going to have a penalty because you didn't sign up at 65. And they just accept that as fact. And they say, okay. And now they have Medicare starting later, paying a penalty when if they had just filled these forms out, they would have been fine and they would have avoided that penalty and started Medicare right away when their group coverage ended. And so that's I mean, that's something to know how to use these forms.
Well, let's talk about the second situation is the person who is turning 65. They've watched our whole video. They call us for consulting, and then we give them the consulting and we say, you don't need to sign up for Medicare because you've got creditable group insurance. Why don't you share with us an example of what some of them say to us?
Yeah, I mean, we have this, and it's a little bit funny, but they'll come in and we are telling them they actually don't need to do anything. They don't need to sign up because they have this group coverage. And they're almost fighting with us. They're saying, no, I've heard there's penalties. I want to avoid these penalties. I mean, the word penalty really just gets them kind of scared. And we have to push them back sometimes and say, listen, this is not the right thing for you. You're better off delaying Medicare. You're going to be fine. And it takes some convincing for them to realize that, okay, you're right. I don't need to do this. And they've just gotten in their mind that they have to sign up at 65, which is sometimes the right thing to do, but sometimes it's not. And it just depends case by case. But it is, we were joking before the show, and it's like, if you push us too hard, we're just going to say okay, and we're going to help you sign up and get you on the insurance. But ultimately, we're really trying to do what's right for you, and a lot of times that might be delaying Medicare.
Well, and these are people that have listened to our stuff intently, and then they've read the Medicare guide, and that subject of penalties just stuck in their head. They said, if I don't sign up at 65, I'm going to pay a penalty later. I don't want to pay penalties. Sign me up at 65. And it's just not quite that simple, because the whole system is designed. I mean, Medicare wants you to delay if you can. I mean, they don't really have any desire to start providing Medicare benefits to you at 65 when they could start paying benefits at 68 or 69. I mean, but they want you to sign up if you need it. They don't want people not signing up for Medicare, not paying in the money, and then just showing up when they get diagnosed with some kind of illness. And then they say, oh, now I want it. They're just not going to be easy to say, okay, yeah, now I want it. I'm going to sign up. So we also get the people that just blow all of this off. They go by 65. And these are usually fairly well-to-do people that they do this because they can. They're well-to-do, and they just kind of ignore the system. And then all of a sudden, we're hearing from them or their spouse at 67, 68, 69, and they're saying, hey, how about getting me some Medicare insurance? What do I need to do to sign up? And we say, well, wait a minute. You didn't sign up at 65. What have you had for insurance? Well, my husband's a lawyer, and he has this plan through, he's a self-employed lawyer or consultant or something, and they've just blown it off. And if that's the case, this is the bigger penalty than the actual dollars that you're going to pay. If somebody right now in July of 2022 called us with this situation, they didn't maintain creditable coverage. They're 68 years old. They now want Medicare. They're going to have to wait till January to March of next year to apply. And then when you apply during that 3-month period, it starts July 1st of next year. So you're going to have to wait a year to even get on Medicare. That's a problem. And then you're going to pay a penalty or an extra premium on your Part B. But this is less costly than this, because especially if you're calling for a reason or somebody's sick, or just being without Medicare and being over 65 and without insurance is a real problem. So all this simply entails is creditable coverage. It only works with group insurance, which is a large employer. So it's got to be more than 20 employees. And the simplest thing to do is when you're turning 65, give us a call. We don't charge for this consulting for Medicare, and we can walk through what your situation is, what your spouse's situation, and give you advice of what you ought to do. If you're over 65 and you've been through this delay, but you didn't get the advice back at 65, and now you want to know how to get onto Medicare and how to do it properly, then again, give us a call. We'll look through your situation and we'll kind of help you through the process like I did the lady in California. So I want to bring Tom back on and see if Tom has some final thoughts here.
Yeah, I mean, I think related to what Hans just talked about is that delaying of Medicare is really the bigger issue. And so I have a guy who called me, or we did a Zoom, because he's currently living over in Europe, and he's 68. He delayed Medicare. He didn't sign up. He thought he was going to be living abroad the rest of his life, and he saw no need to sign up for Medicare. Well, fast forward a couple of years, he's wanting to move back to the United States to be closer to family, and he's having a problem because now he's missed the initial window to sign up at 65. He has not had credible coverage, and he's planning on moving back around January of next year, which is the window he can sign up for Medicare, but it's not going to start till July 1st of that same year. And so he's going to have about 6 months or so of no health insurance. And so we're looking into like maybe some short-term plan options for him, but it's a long time for something to potentially happen where he's not going to have very good coverage. And so even people living abroad, you really need to think through, should I sign up for Medicare? If you just know 100% you're not moving back, maybe not. But if you want the ability to move back in the future, you probably need to sign up for Medicare right at 65, unless you have group coverage through active employment, either on you or your spouse. And that's what the credible coverage is.
Okay. Well, I'm Hans Scheil.
And I'm Tom Griffith.
And we both thank you for listening.
Thank you.